Welcome back to Say No To Lashon Hara, Day 12. This class has been sponsored anonymously, and the entire series is in the merit of Refuah Shlema for Chana Bat Semafega. The Chafetz Chaim continues in explaining the possible negative commandments that a person is transgressing when they speak Lashon Hara. Aside from the ones that we've spoken about already, there's another issue as well, and that is the issue of Lo Tisna et Achicha Bilvavecha. The pasuk says that a person cannot hate his brother in his heart. And the question is, what does the pasuk mean to say by that? The language of Chazal is a person should not be echad bepeh ve'echad belev. One thing he says with his mouth, but he feels something very different in his heart. And the Chachamim explain that this mitzvah, don't hate your brother in your heart, is telling you that if you said something and you had the conversation with that person, there's a chance of rectifying or fixing that broken relationship. But if you keep it to yourself and you allow the hatred to grow inside of you, the chance of this getting better are 0 to none. And it only gets worse the longer you hold it in. So therefore, Chazal wanted a person to not hold in this hatred, nurturing it, letting it grow inside of them, but actually to go and speak to the person themselves to sort of resolve that issue. But when a person speaks Lashon Hara, a lot of times they have a challenge. You might be able to kind of tell the person directly to wear your heart on your sleeve and show them that you're really upset with them. But there are cases where you don't have that option. Let's say the person's a client of yours. Let's say the person is in charge of the school that your kids are trying to get into. Let's say it's your boss. So you're kind of obligated to make nice on your face, even though you're really upset inside and very angry. That two-faced nature actually results in the relationship sometimes getting broken and damaged beyond repair. So the Torah says, Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha. Don't speak one way and feel another. So what will happen is you'll make a smile to the person, and then the next chance you get, you'll talk to someone and say how much you can't stand them because you'll let it out somewhere else. So this idea of du partzufi, acting with two faces, or being echad bepeh ve'echad balev, one way in your heart and one way in your mouth, is another problem that Lashon Hara draws a spotlight to. Now, if you can't talk it over with that person because it would be, problematic for you to go to that place with such a person, so what will happen? Who will you talk it over with? So Lashon Hara is effectively the way that a person will wind up solving that problem. And actually, oftentimes we'll then tell the person, and please don't say anything that I said. Please, let's keep this between us. That is, again, keeping this argument hidden and not bringing it out and solving the problem. So when we talk about this idea of not hating your brother in your heart, the Torah actually puts two more transgressions lined up right behind this sin. And now those are lo titor and lo tikom. Lo titor means don't bear a grudge. Don't hold a grudge in your heart against someone. Someone did something bad to you. You're really upset at them. You're holding on to it. You're not letting go. You're remembering it. So the Chafetz Chaim explains that someone does something that you didn't like, or you ask them for a favor, or you ask them to, to send you a reference, and for whatever reason, they were unwilling to do so. You're so angry about it, so you hold on to it. You now are transgressing lo titor, don't bear a grudge. And then when you actually then have a chance to speak badly about this person, you don't know, I asked them for a favor, who doesn't do that? Who doesn't help a shidduch? Who won't help someone get a job? This person is just the worst. That expression of Lashon Hara now is an expression of revenge because you're so mad about the person not doing you the favor that you asked for. You're now actually actively taking revenge with your words. It's important then to remember that many times when people are speaking badly about someone, they're not just doing it for pleasure. There's a score to settle. They're upset about something. They're jealous about something. So that angry feeling and that grudge that was born inside, the desire to get back at that person is often fueling their Lashon Hara. So remember that when you hear someone say Lashon Hara to you about someone. Imagine that this statement is probably not as correct as the person thinks it is. They're probably biased because they felt that they were wronged or they were hurt by that person, and therefore they actually believe their own narrative, their own story. So if you could think about the fact that this person's Lashon Hara is not objective, It's probably coming from a place of anger, upset, resentment, etc., etc. You might not buy what they're selling or peddling. Think about it this way. If you could not care less about someone, they did nothing to you, you don't even know them, is there a desire to speak Lashon Hara about them? And especially to get excited about that Lashon Hara? Noticing that the person is getting excited and speaking should only undermine, the more passionate they are, should only undermine the veracity and truthfulness of their statement in your eyes even more. When you're hearing Lashon Hara, you are seeing the inside anger taking form and shape into arrows in the form of words.